They were both shot in the first round.
Yeah.
And had to be talked out of doing it again.
Doing it again because they didn't know if their honor had been satisfied.
Wow.
Yeah, crazy times.
Okay, Button, welcome back to Georgia.
Well, thank you, Mr. Masino. It's good to be in Georgia.
Oh, I'm so glad to have you. Well, as you know, as a business person, entrepreneur, that I've got to thank some sponsors. So I want to thank our great partners at Vox Pop Uli, who just recently we kicked off the Chamber Corner, our online store. So if you're a Chamber Chairman's Club member or a Chamber member, we'd love to partner with you on some swag and co-branding. So you could check that out. All this is online at our website. And for the great folks that are watching this podcast, you can see we also have a great sponsor, Capital Restoration.
Oh, very good.
Both on our mic and on our mugs. And Button, have you ever had a home repair?
Yes.
Yeah, me too.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, I actually, my wife and I had a repair issue in one of our rental properties, and bathroom's leaking. I call Capital Restoration. It's all taken care of.
How about that?
They stopped the leak and took a week and everything was repaired.
Awesome.
It was great. Yeah, it was so exciting. I wonder what Button was pitching back in the day.
Lots of things.
Yeah.
Lots of things. You know, he had a store, like a general store, so he sold things like pickles, bed furniture, gold lace hats. He kind of, I mean, so he had a little bit of everything. It's kind of like the Target of today, a little bit of everything, the general store.
Instead of the giant Target sphere, it would probably be a button.
Yeah, that would probably be a good
out
idea,
in the front,
right?
so you don't park
Absolutely.
in the wrong place. That's awesome. Well, again, welcome back. I'm curious, and I'm going to go Jason West.
Okay, yes.
Gwinnett County leader and longtime executive within the organization. We've worked together all the way back to your time when you were, even before you were executive director of Gwinnett Environmental Heritage Center.
Yes, we worked a long time together working with helping get Treetop Quest out at the campus.
Oh my gosh.
And working through the foundation there. So yes, we've had a long-standing working relationship, Nick.
Yeah. I wonder what Button Gwinnett, if he was transported here today to see the success of Gwinnett and from the Environmental Heritage Center,
right.
Which is really actually apropos from the time that the Gwinnett County was named in 1818, to just the incredible expansiveness of what's happened.
I think he'd be amazed. I think he'd be amazed at a couple of things. Number one, I think he'd be amazed at the population. Because in 1776, there were about 35,000 people in all of Georgia. And so to arrive in a county with 1 million people and a state with a little over 11 million, I think it would blow him away. And then I also think from an infrastructure standpoint, just to think about getting from place to place. When Button left Savannah to get to Philadelphia, it would have taken him about a month to get there, and it would have taken him a month to get back. I mean, now he can be in Philadelphia in 2-3 hours? So yes, I think he would be amazed at what we have become and the success that is Georgia and Gwinnett County.
For sure. Of course, anyone from that era being transported to 250 years later would be amazed.
Yes.
But tell me what you think about Button, who was a business person, who really almost got into politics because his buddy, Lyman Hall, invited him in. But as he came to the United States looking for opportunity.
He did. He came here like so many people who come to America it was a land of opportunity, a land to start over. Button throughout his entire career failed at business multiple times, and then he would pick himself up by his bootstraps and start again. And so his journey to America was one of those moments where he had kind of hit rock bottom in England and decided, I'm going to try something new, and made his way here. So I think that is the American story, right? When we think about why people come to America or why people come to Gwinnett specifically, right? It's the opportunity to start and try something new. And that's exactly what Button Gwinnett did in coming to the colonies and coming to Georgia.
And so here's a guy, Button Gwinnett, which by the way, I just learned something. I didn't realize. I guess it makes perfect sense. You wouldn't leave a good thing to get on a boat, which had not the best odds of surviving.
No.
And coming to America to start over, and the best odds here.
Yeah.
And
not only that, Nick, he left his family. I mean, he came over here by himself first.
Okay.
So he left his wife and his young child at home. So, I mean, he really, he was throwing it all in to start over.
So my understanding is he had 3 daughters. Did he have 1 in England and 2 here?
All of his children were born in England.
Oh, all okay. Okay.
2 of them died in relatively young ages, and 1, I think her name was Betsy.
Okay.
She survived to adulthood.
Okay. Did all 3 come to the United States?
Just Betsy.
Okay,
She
Betsy.
would have been the only one who
Okay. Again, very common at the time. Seems incredibly sad today to lose 2 of your 3 of your children. Yeah. Completely common at that time.
Absolutely.
Mortality rates were terrible. We're seeing the best mortality rates in first and second world countries than the world's ever seen. Okay, so Button comes to Savannah. He, like any great entrepreneur, tries some things. Tell us about some of his ventures.
Well, he started a business in Savannah, and we actually there's a recorded advertisement from a newspaper back in the day that actually shows Button Gwinnett advertising his products. And as I mentioned earlier, it was kind of like a general store, so he had a little bit of everything. But the interesting thing about Button, as far as we can tell, is he wasn't in the business very long.
Okay.
Because about a month after the advertisement appears in the newspaper, there's another advertisement advertising the lease of land on St. Catherine's Island. And so Button Gwinnett, who has invested a tremendous amount of money in this business and gone into a lot of debt, somehow convinces his friends and his bankers to loan him the money to buy this 500-year lease on St. Catherine's Island. Wow. So he changes from being a merchant to a landowner, and there's a reason for that. What do you think that reason might be, Nick? Why would he have wanted to be a landowner?
So he could vote?
So he could vote and participate in the public process. That's exactly right, because you had to own a certain number of acres to participate in the process, and that's what he did. And so even through a 500-year lease, he qualified to then serve as a voter. He could serve as a justice of the peace. He was appointed a justice of the peace, a magistrate, and then he got elected to the Colonial Assembly. So he started his political career as a member of the local Colonial Assembly. And he does that for a little bit, but then his financing of the land, his failed businesses finally catch up with him, and he keeps borrowing money and borrowing money and borrowing more money, and it just got out of control. Also, Nick, there's some evidence that he did not necessarily practice the best business ethics, because there's another newspaper advertisement that someone takes out saying, hey, if Button Gwinnett tries to sell you this land, he's already sold it to me and has not given me the deed. So, I mean, there was some pretty shady practices that he was involved in, but I think he just got himself in a lot of financial trouble.
Mm-hmm. A couple of historical questions that I have. I love history. What is on St. Catherine's Island today?
What I don't know for exact, but
Okay.
I think that it's pretty much held as a preserve.
Okay.
So you don't see a lot.
Okay, so like
on
it's
there.
it's just part of the barrier islands of Georgia,
Right.
going all the way down to Florida.
And it's my understanding that there is a group that has the island and they basically preserve it.
Okay, all right. That's interesting. I was curious.
Yeah.
Okay,
I've never been. I would like to. Supposedly, his home is there, but I don't know how accurate that is, because I think with hurricanes and storms and time, I don't really know if that's really truly Button Gwinnett's house. That's what they call it, but I don't know. I question that, Nick. I question that.
All right. You also talked about the Colonial Assembly. What did you?
Like the colonial legislature.
Legislature.
All of the colonies had a colonial assembly
Okay.
of local people that made local decisions, which is one of the reasons why when there is this anti-tax movement, when people say we want a voice at the table, the colonists were used to that. They had that in local matters, and when they began to experience tax demands from Parliament, but they weren't represented, this was a thorn in their side. So here in the colonies in Georgia and South Carolina and other places, they had elected assemblies that met periodically to discuss local issues.
And so and the Crown was okay with that. They thought, take care of yourself, organize yourself.
That is correct.
Okay.
So the royal governors would have worked with these colonial assemblies. But as you well know, as that tension began to mount, the working together did not last very long.
So curious, and you may not know because I'm not suggesting you're
I'm not a history professor.
Yeah, but we're practicing.
Right.
Were there any type of assemblies back in England?
The Parliament.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So you're right. So
Yeah. Yeah.
So there was. So this wasn't a grand experiment there. I mean, they were doing this representation. It just, as you said, as Washington D.C. says on their license plates, no representation.
That's right. That's a
Taxation
bone
without
of contention.
Yeah.
Right?
Taxation without representation.
And I think that's one of the things. The distance between the colonies and the mother country, England. England had given them a lot of leverage, right? Mm-hmm. And so they had the ability to kind of do their own thing. But as they began to try to pay for the French and Indian War, the 7 Years' War, and they began to say, we're going to issue this tax and this tax, there was a lot of resistance to that. Now, the interesting thing about it is the people of the colonies were actually, with these new taxes, were taxed at a much lower rate than the people in England. But even though it was a small rate, they were irate about it. They did not think it was the right thing to do. And it, of course, led to the creation of the nation that we have today.
Vox Pop Uli is a marketing production company that specializes in print, apparel, and specialty engraving. We help businesses communicate their brand across all of their channels. We provide print, apparel, and specialty engraving, so everything from vehicle wraps, banners, business cards, trade show displays, to your corporate apparel, uniforms, backpacks, anything that you want to put a logo on. You can contact us by phone, email, or visit us on the web at vox-pop-uli.com.
Historical significance, I think we all take so much for granted, but Button Gwinnett and 55 others signed this piece of paper in Philadelphia. Just get a couple sentences what led up to that, and then expound upon the significance.
Absolutely.
Of that.
Well, that's his claim to fame, right? I mean, he was one of the 3 Georgians and one of the 56, as you mentioned, who signed the Declaration of Independence. So he was sent to Philadelphia to represent the colony, along with Lyman Hall and George Walton, who all 3 have a county named for them. All 3 counties were created on the same day and in the same year, December 15th, 1818. But he is famous for that, but he's also famous for the fact that his signature is the most valuable of all the signers. More valuable than Ben Franklin, Thomas Jefferson, John Hancock, you name it. And there's a reason for that. And you're a man of economics. What's the reason?
Supply and demand.
Supply and demand. It's scarce, right? So there are only 51 known copies of his signature.
51. Okay.
And the last time one was available for auction, I think it sold for over $700,000. So I always tell people, if you're at a yard sale and you come across a document that's got Button Gwinnett's signature on it, do not throw it away. Call me or call somebody.
Yeah. Well, I would say buy it, then call me.
Yeah. That's a good advice.
Buy it immediately.
Good advice. But yeah, so that's another thing he's famous for. What you don't know about Button Gwinnett, which is just as important, is about a month after signing the Declaration, he comes home to Georgia. The Congress had said to the states, go and establish state governments, because that was very important. And so he comes home, he becomes a member of the assembly that's going to write the new state constitution. He actually serves as speaker, and he helps draft Georgia's first constitution. So for 12 years, that is the document that governed the state. And it was largely, according to historians, designed under the direction of Button Gwinnett. So he had a huge hand in that. So he's famous for that. He also served temporarily as provisional president of Georgia, which means he was governor of Georgia, right before that Constitution went into effect. He served for 2 months. It was a tumultuous 2-month tenure. He led a little expedition into Florida that was a disaster that he got in a lot of trouble for. And then his rivalry with the McIntosh family became much more severe. The brother of one of his arch rivals, Lachlan McIntosh, was arrested under his command as the new provisional president, charged with treason. Eventually, he was found not guilty, but this created a lot of bad blood between the McIntoshes and Gwinnett. And then 2 months into his provisional term, he runs for governor under the new Constitution, and he loses. When he does, McIntosh calls him a scoundrel and a lying rascal, and this offends Mr. Gwinnett's honor. He challenges McIntosh to a duel, and the rest is history. Both men shot each other, one died, and so Button Gwinnett's story comes to an end.
Great story. I caught up some little pieces that I was not aware of, but I do have a question. Did Button, he struck McIntosh?
Yes, he did.
And one of them was grazed. Was it Button that was grazed and then died 3 days later of an infection, or do we know?
Button was hit in the leg.
What about McIntosh?
Well, he was shot too, but he recovered.
Okay.
He is eventually charged with murder, but found innocent. And then goes on to continue serving the Continental Army as an officer and is a prominent Georgian. He has a county name for him too.
And if I'm not mistaken, he actually had some success during the Revolutionary War.
He did.
And
yes.
I mean, maybe based on what we know about Button, I'm not saying he deserved it by any means, but he's a guy that's left a lot of debt. Wasn't there's advertisements that hey, don't buy this property. He already sold it to me. But the reality is, I think the McIntosh, everything I've read about him, is a pretty upstanding guy.
I think you are right in that assumption. Gwinnett was hot-headed. And, and it goes back to the times, it doesn't make a lot of sense to us today, and I guess it really probably shouldn't have made a lot of sense in 1776 that you would settle your disputes by shooting pistols at each other. They actually, one of the stories talks about that when they shot each other, they both fired, and they asked if they felt that their honor had been served, and should they do it again? And Gwinnett was like, yes, let's do it again. And McIntosh was like, yes, let's do it again. And the seconds, the people that were assigned to assist them talked them out of it and said, no, you have done what you needed to do. And so they didn't shoot another round. None of that makes a lot of sense.
They were both shot in the first round.
Yeah.
And had to be talked out of doing it again.
Doing it again because they didn't know if their honor had been satisfied.
Wow.
Yeah, crazy times. Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's 250 years ago. People thought differently.
Yeah.
Well, you gave me the whole thing in a nutshell there, but I want to unwind a little bit of that.
Okay.
So I think people just really just glaze past this. These 56 men, at the time, landowners, it was a different time.
Right.
We've evolved. We continue to evolve as a nation. The great experiment continues to be is a live process. But they're sitting there in Philadelphia. That was Independence Hall, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Named Independence Hall, probably following that.
I would imagine.
I don't think it was called Independence Hall that day.
I think it was the Philadelphia State House.
I think you're correct. So putting your name on that document could have gone really poorly for them.
Absolutely.
And I don't think people like talk about that. Go into character, Button. You are now in Philadelphia. You are literally the greatest empire maybe the world is. Well, it's definitely the greatest empire at the time.
Right.
The seafaring, it's incredible. Everyone fears the British, the redcoats. And so you're all pretty hot-headed. You're a hothead, so you're going to charge at anything.
Absolutely. Well, I think you can look at it one of two ways. Either these guys were extremely brave or they were absolutely crazy.
Right.
And I think you have to look at it that way. We look at it today, Nick, just like you said, it is almost inevitable to us that we think, oh, of course, America will win. We always win. But at that time, you are correct. Actually, historians tell us that about a third of the people who lived in the colonies were very supportive of the patriot cause of breaking away. A third were extremely loyal to the crown, and then a third were very indifferent. And so here it is, these group of 13 very independent, what I would call extremely sovereign states, almost like 13 individual nations. Each have a lot of differences, but somehow they're going to combine together. The things they each want is not the same. There's no common currency. There's no professional military. And if you were a betting man, you would say, there's no way in the world these people are going to do this. You're going to take a bunch of farmers and merchants, and they're going to take on the most powerful nation on earth. But they did. And so there is an inevitable sense of bravery because you are right. Putting their name on that document, they were committing treason. And once
Bingo.
they were caught, if they were caught, and the likelihood was they very well could be, I mean, they would be sentenced to death. Their families would be ruined financially. And so, you know, I often ask when we talk about this in some of the programming that we do with the county with kids, we talk about the Declaration of Independence, and we ask them, you know, what do you think you would do? Would you have put your name on this document? And I don't know. You'd have to really think about it because, you know, you're a family man. You've got a family. You know, I often think about when I make decisions, I'm not just making a decision for myself. I'm making a decision for my family. Would I be willing to put my family at risk? Obviously, there are certain ideals that we believe in that we might. And I think at this moment in time, these 56 men felt like it was worth that risk. And that is amazing. And so you have to look past Button Gwinnett's failures as a person because he was brave and those other people were brave.
Yes.
And they put their name on a document that basically defines who we all are as Americans. And that goes back, Nick, to, okay, some people will question Button Gwinnett, another failure in his life. He enslaved people. At the time of his death, it's recorded he had about 60 enslaved individuals.
On the farm island,
On St. Catherine's Island and the work that he did there. Thomas Jefferson, who wrote the Declaration mostly, enslaved some 600 people. And so the juxtaposition of history is, how is it possible that one could write this document where we talk about the very essence of, you know, all men being equal? How does that work? And I don't know. I can't answer that question because obviously at the time, everybody was not included in that document. But this is how I make this work in my head. The greatest thing about America is not necessarily its military or its resources. The greatest thing about it is its promise, right? And when words are written, whether they're said out loud or they're put on a piece of document, it's really hard to contain them. And so the idea, once it was spoken, you can't put that back in the box, right? And so it doesn't happen immediately, but over time, when the Declaration is written, it's primarily talking about white, wealthy men. Within a few years, it is white men. It doesn't matter whether you're wealthy anymore. In the 1860s, the Civil War is fought. Then it becomes African-American men. Now, that doesn't last for long because Jim Crow comes and those men lose those rights. In the 1920s, women get the right. And then in the 50s and 60s with the Civil Rights Movement, it expands back to African Americans. So that promise that was uttered in Philadelphia, it becomes real over time. That's the great thing about America. The great thing about America is the promise to be better than we are, because we're not perfect, Nick. Nobody is perfect. There are no perfect people. There's no perfect nation, but we strive towards perfection. And as long as we do that, we're going to always be okay.
Well, that was incredible. Thank you for sharing that. It's almost emotional, right?
Yeah.
Historically, after the colonists win, it is a domino effect around the world in regards to Britain losing their colonies all over, because people were like, wow, that's actually possible. Look what happened to the French.
Absolutely.
And I've been to Versailles. I get why they cut their heads off. It's obnoxious. They're starving, and these people are living. You know, the one. I'm the sun god. Watch me wake up every day.
Right.
So it really just changed the way the world worked. It's incredible. And I said it earlier. You just said it so eloquently. This just great experiment continues. And I want to circle back because we actually saw this repeat itself a couple hundred years later in Ireland. And it's, I think, the late 1800s, so I'm not a couple hundred years, but 1800, 100 years later. These men signed this document. It didn't go well for them. It didn't work out. And everyone that signed their declaration, they were hung in prison or shot in prison.
Wow.
And I think people lose, I think you said it earlier, everyone just says, of course this was going to work out.
Sure.
Well, it worked out because a lot of things went right. And anyone that's mad at the French, Ben Franklin went over and just created such great connection with the French. They loved him. He was a superstar. By the way, the oldest signer Benjamin Franklin.
Absolutely.
And I think he was 70 when he signed it. It's incredible. And
he would go on to sign the Constitution as well. So, I mean, he was still around several years after that.
Yeah, he is a character. Yeah. I mean, son of Pennsylvania, just absolutely incredible. But I really enjoyed discussing this.
Yeah.
I'm so happy that we're here experiencing all of this and the names and a namesake of one of the signers. How lucky are we?
Absolutely.
And I'm going to share something that I don't think has been explored much, but I think it's really interesting, and it just literally came to me when we started this conversation, is he was an immigrant.
He was.
And from 1818 to about 1990, there weren't a lot of immigrants in Gwinnett. There probably were in the beginning,
right.
Really like the first couple of decades. But then from, let's say, 1990 to today, we've become one of the most diverse counties in the United States, driven mostly from the surge. I mean, obviously, there's always been the historic in the southeastern part of the United States, black and white, but we have this surge of immigrants, and not from any one place.
Right.
They're from all over the world. And something like 37% of our population was born outside of the United States.
It's amazing.
And the answer I don't know to this question is, I wonder what percent of our population are second generation immigrant.
I don't know.
I bet that pushes us over 50%. I mean, my mother was born in England. I'm the son of an immigrant.
Right.
And my father's been here for 3 generations. But I mean, his dad was not an immigrant. So, that's the American experiment continuing. My mom is still alive today, remembers coming over on a ship from England, just
That's
like
amazing.
Button.
Yeah.
It was a little bit shorter.
A nicer ship, a shorter route, I'm sure. Yeah.
Well, I wanted to just kind of drill down on a couple other things. This has been absolutely so entertaining for me. But you talked about the legacy, how important this is. Is there anything else that you want to share? So you dress up as Button. You've been doing this for some time. Everyone loves it, by the way, Jason.
Well,
It is fantastic.
It's a lot of fun.
When I found out that this was gonna happen, I was super excited about it. And then when there was the chance you might be dressing up as Button, I was like, "This is incredible! Yeah, it's awesome." Anything you wanted to share?
No, it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun. By training, I was a teacher. I was a teacher before coming to Gwinnett. Nick, I always tell people there are 2 great counties in the world. I channel my inner Nick Masino and say Gwinnett County is the greatest county in the universe. But right behind that is Kershaw County, South Carolina, which is where I'm from. And
you were a school board member.
I was a school board member there, but also a teacher.
Wow.
Just right out of college, a teacher there. I taught South Carolina American history. So I love teaching, and I love doing it in a fun way because I think that's what makes people understand it. So when the bicentennial came up several years ago with Gwinnett County, we started some Button Gwinnett programs, and it's been going about 10 years now. And I still fit into the suit. So I'm very proud of myself, Nick.
Well done.
Yeah, thank you.
Are you on the Constitutional Army diet?
Apparently, I must be. But so I've had the opportunity, and we do a lot of programs. We do programs with kids, Leadership Gwinnett, Glance Gwinnett, Gwinnett 101, the Youth Commission. Next week, we're going to the Police Academy. All kinds of various Rotary clubs and civic groups will say, will you come and tell the story? And so we like to tell Gwinnett's story. And we do it through the namesake. We don't just talk about Button Gwinnett. We talk about all of Gwinnett's history, but it's a lot of fun, and I enjoy it as a part of my job. I am always tell people, I think I have the greatest job in Gwinnett County government. I really do, because it's fun, and every day we get to do something new and exciting, and I'm very thankful for that opportunity. So, as long as I keep wearing this suit and keep fitting into it and people still want to hear, I will go and talk about Gwinnett County because it is the greatest county in the history of the universe.
I agree as well. I've lived here 32 years of my life, and so well more than half, and it's pretty amazing. Okay, well, this was absolutely a blast for me. I do want to share something with you. I have been doing some... basically little quizzes, trivia really, on the Declaration, on Button.
Absolutely.
And I am a little, now, to be fair, I am the president and CEO of the Gwinnett Chamber, and I do like history.
Yeah.
And I actually, I thought as elementary, middle, even halfway through high school, that I maybe wanted to be a history teacher. I really had a great history teacher.
You would have been a good one.
Who influences you, right? Your teachers.
yeah. Right.
And so I've been having some fun with trivia. And I ask people regularly, who are the 3 signers of the Declaration of Independence? And I usually say representing the colony of Georgia.
Right.
And I would say about 1% no.
Oh.
And I have definitely asked 200 people.
Oh, my gosh.
But if you know the answer and can name all 3, I have given away maybe about $50 worth of 50-cent JFK 50-cent pieces.
Oh, wow.
Well, I had 3 rolls of 1976
Wow.
bicentennial.
Nick, that's awesome.
So they're 50 years old.
Yeah.
And so I'm going to ask you a trivia question.
Oh, I hope I get it
So,
right.
so I don't have one on me,
Well,
Jason, because I've given them all away.
Okay.
But when I give it away, I say, I've just given you a 1976, a 50-cent piece with JFK. It's 50 years old. Wow. What do you think that's worth? What do you think a 50-year-old JFK coin is worth today?
I would say
$50.
I would say 50 cents.
You're exactly correct. And I've had people say, I don't know, $100?
It's 50 cents.
$50?
Yeah.
And I said, do you really think I'd give you something worth $100? So a little trivia. Because it was our 200th anniversary at the time, they printed more of the 1976 50-cent pieces than any of the years they've ever printed them.
That's why
or,
they're
or
out
stamped
there.
them. And so they're everywhere, right?
Interesting.
So when you get really excited, it's really not. It's pretty.
okay.
Yeah, there's a much greater chance you get one of those than the 2007 one.
Well, it's still cool.
It is cool.
It's a cool thing.
I will say, though, anyone in their 30s or below have never seen one.
Yeah.
I mean, they're looking at it like I've just given them a gold doubloon or a,
Same thing with the $2 bill, right?
Yes.
You don't see very many people who have seen that before.
Yes.
So, yeah.
But it is funny, since doing this, and I've done this, for
Yeah.
like months now.
Yeah.
People, if they have one, they'll go, "Oh, you like that?" And I've had about 10 people pull a $2 bill out of their wallet.
What?
Or their purse to show me. And I'm like, why do you carry that? And they're like, I don't know, good luck. And so they said, and now I have a 50-cent piece they add to it.
On that $2 bill on the back is the famous painting of, I think his name is John Trumbull, that hangs in the Capitol. And everybody thinks it is the signing of the Declaration of Independence, but it is not.
It is the signing of what?
It is not the signing of anything. It's
Oh,
the presentation of the draft on the 28th of June.
Okay.
And everybody always thinks it's the July 4th signing, but that's not correct. And in that, John Trump, the painter, the artist, tried to correctly identify all of the people that were there. And he mostly did, but he left out several people, including Button Gwinnett. Button Gwinnett, because they didn't really know what Button Gwinnett looked like. We don't really have a definitive image of Button Gwinnett. So Lyman Hall and Button Gwinnett are not pictured. George Walton is.
Okay.
And there are a couple of others that are left out. But just an interesting little side trivia about that painting. It's not the signing of the Declaration, and Button Gwinnett's not in it. And also, Nick, the Declaration was not signed on July 4th. It was August the 2nd.
What explain to me the confusion?
Well, there's several things. Like the thing, it's presented for adoption on the 28th. They debate it on the 1st. They approve it on the 2nd. The 4th, they approve the copy that we have. And then they had to wait a while to get it prepared. And then on August the 2nd, as many of them as could, signed it at that point, of which Button Gwinnett, Lyman Hall, and George Walton all signed on the 2nd of August.
So they were hanging around Philadelphia waiting to sign the document.
So that leads me into this. I want you to know, and all of Gwinnett to know, that on August the 1st of this year, Gwinnett County, Department of Community Services, Parks and Recreation, along with the city of Lawrenceville as the primary host, we are having a huge event on August the 1st, America 250, celebrating our journey. And so that afternoon, there will be all kinds of things happening at the Lawrenceville Arts Center, Female Seminary in Lawrenceville, the Historic Courthouse, and the Hooper Renwick Library. We'll have things happening all afternoon, lots of fun. There'll be a mock signing of the Declaration. We're going to read from the turret. You have been invited to read an excerpt
I received
from the
email.
Declaration. So I want you to be sure and do that. And then at 2:50 in the afternoon, the bells in Lawrenceville will ring for 2 minutes and 50 seconds as we mark this great moment in our nation's history, which I mean, Nick, I mean, think about that. Being downtown Lawrenceville, First Baptist, St. Lawrence Catholic, the seminary bell of the courthouse, the Methodist church bell, all ringing at the same time. What a phenomenal day that will be.
I can't wait.
And then that evening on the Lawrenceville lawn, the Lawrenceville Symphony Orchestra is going to be doing a pop-style concert. It's going to be a great day. So I want you to be there, and I want anybody from Gwinnett County and beyond to come and celebrate on August the 1st as we truly mark the signing of the Declaration of Independence 250 years.
Well, what a great way to end with that invitation. Thank you so much. I'm really excited about this, all this that's happening in Gwinnett. Just excited for America, and I really, really do believe that I know people politically or feel very uncomfortable. The reality is, this is the best and the safest time ever to live in the world. Obviously, there's lots of places you wouldn't want to be today, but I don't think you have to go back too far to think about how bad it could be. And I love earlier in this conversation you went through. We've evolved, and we are better today. Imagine where we'll be in 20 and 40 and 50 years, and because of that great promise, and it's the people too.
Absolutely,
and we are just becoming richer as a nation every year, and so I'm proud to be here with you, both Button and Jason.
Thank you, Nick.
Yeah, your split personality, but it was a lot of fun. And Jason, let me just say this. You've done incredible things in Gwinnett County. Appreciate everything that you've done and all the lives that you've affected. In Gwinnett County, we are very blessed. What Gwinnett has invested and what our citizens have invested in improving SPLOST and buying the land and investing in parks. It's a pretty incredible place.
It is an incredible place. And I say every day, my family is lucky to call Gwinnett County home. And I wouldn't want to live anywhere else, man.
Well said. Great closing comments.
Yeah.
And thank you so much. Really appreciate it.
Hey, man, glad to be here.
Take care.
Yes, sir.